Hello, friends. I'm Carol Ann Schwartz, National President of Hadassah, and I am so thrilled to be here with you this evening and to have the occasion to celebrate our incredible organization and all that we have accomplished together this year. When we celebrated Hanukkah last year, we were together just 2 months after the most horrific attack in the history of the modern state of Israel. It seemed impossible to use the word celebrate at that time. 1 year later, there is still so much uncertainty in the world and our beloved Israel. Still 100 hostages being held captive in Gaza. Still soldiers fighting on the front lines every day. Still anti-Semitism running rampant in America and abroad. But somehow it finally feels like we have come to a point where we can look back with pride and hope on all that our hospitals, youth villages, and members and donors around the United States have done these last harrowing months, and that is what we are going to celebrate tonight. Though we are still a few days away from lighting the first Hanukkah candle, we are drawing on a powerful message from the lights themselves as we tell our Hadassah stories tonight. Each night of Hanukkah, as the number of flames grows, the darkness is slowly eviscerated, and we are left with the prevailing notion that the addition of just one small flame can cast away so much darkness. Tonight, I am honored to introduce our program, where we will highlight 8 stories, 8 points of light that have illuminated our world this year, made possible because of the incredible doctors, nurses, researchers, students, teachers, members, volunteers, and donors of Hadassah. You'll hear about the amazing research and innovation that has been done and introduced to the world by Hadassah Medical Organization. You'll learn about the crucial advocacy work happening here in the United States and around the world that our Hadassah members and donors have tirelessly worked to push through. You'll hear about our incredible youth Aliyah students who are the hope of Israel's future. And you'll hear about the new facilities that we have opened to help secure the future of Israel's medical system. Tonight, one by one, we will be joined by our incredible Hadassah volunteers and supporters who, like each of you, have contributed to the work that Hadassah does and who help make all of these stories happen. And one by one, we will tell stories of light that have helped to reclaim space from the darkness. It is such a privilege to introduce this inspirational program. It's been such an honor to have spent the last year traveling to your local events and getting to share the incredible work that our beloved hospital, our beloved Hadassah, makes possible every day, and that we all help to make possible together. As Hanukkah comes to a start and 2024 comes to a close, I send to each of you my most heartfelt wishes for a new year filled with hope, a year where we see the release of all of the remaining hostages, and a year filled with healing for all of us, for Israel, and for the world. From my family to yours, I wish you all a Chag Hanukkah Sameach.
Hello, I'm Karen Ezrine, Chair of Hadassah International for HWZOA. 2024 was a fantastic year for our physical plants, with the openings of 2 critical facilities on our campuses. In January, on the Hadassah Hospital Mount Scopus campus, the Gandel Rehabilitation Center began its phased opening well ahead of schedule because of the urgent demands of the war. At the Gandel Rehabilitation Center opening, the sounds of Hadassah representatives clapping and singing Shalom Aleichem welcomed the first patients. These patients, all of whom were wounded in the war, are heroes and heroines to whom we owe a great debt of gratitude. They began their journey in the new center in a designated department with advanced equipment and systems that were built and installed especially for them. The Gandel Center offers a host of specialized treatments along with physical and occupational therapy, physiotherapy, hydrotherapy, and respiratory and orthopedic rehabilitation, and rehabilitation for neurological problems caused by brain, spinal cord, and nervous system injuries. The 323,000 square foot, 8-story center, named for John and Pauline Gandel of the Gandel Foundation in Melbourne, Australia, will care for 10,000 patients annually. There are 140 inpatient beds, which is a 250% increase for the Hadassah Medical Organization, and an outpatient clinic, which will be able to serve 250 patients a day. Jerusalem has long needed a new and advanced rehabilitation center, and we have worked for years to create it. This need became a priority because of the war, both for the many soldiers and civilians in Israel. Although the planning began years ago, construction was greatly accelerated following the attacks of October 7th. Because of the war, we are facing a real crisis in the state of Israel that has only intensified given the many war wounded who need rehabilitation. Each wounded person requires prolonged rehabilitation, a period of at least several weeks, if not many months. The effort to build the center is part of Hadassah's 112-year commitment to the state of Israel and to Jerusalem. After the Gandel Rehabilitation Center opening in January, there was another opening in May. With support from donors all over the world, and after many years of planning, construction, and anticipation, we welcomed the first patients into the fully transformed round building, including the Alberto and Vicky Saba Internal Medicine Complex. A big shout out to Nikki Schulman, chair of the 360 Degrees of Healing campaign, which made the opening of the renovated facility possible. And hats off to all involved in making both the Gandel Rehabilitation Center and the breathtaking renovation of our beloved round building possible.
Good evening. My name is Joyce Rabin, co-coordinator of the Marketing and Communication Division of Hadassah, and I'm delighted to be with you as we look forward to Hanukkah in a few days. We just heard about the accelerated opening of Hadassah's new Gandel Rehabilitation Center, a remarkable achievement, especially during these difficult times. To put a human face to the kind of patients that are cared for at the Gandel Center, I'm here to tell you a story about a true hero, a soldier named Shlomo. Shlomo Dema, 31 years old, could have sat out this war, but he didn't want to. Born in Paris, Shlomo was the youngest of 5 children because his identical twin brother was born 2 minutes before him. When the twins were 4, their parents moved the family to Israel, where the children grew up in Jerusalem. Like most young men and women in Israel, it was important for Shlomo to join the IDF when he graduated from high school. After graduation, he became a combat medic in the paratroopers. Because he was injured in service in 2014, he hadn't been called up to reserve duty since then, not even on October 7th. But Shlomo was persistent, After several letters and phone calls and emails to the IDF, he finally got the green light. They accepted him and he reported for duty. His new unit near Jabiah was soon under terrorist attack, and an improvised explosive device known as an IED struck near his position, causing a stone wall to collapse on top of him. For Shlomo, everything went black. He thought he was dead. Indeed, Shlomo's injuries were very severe. He had a hole in his back. His lungs had collapsed. He needed tourniquets on all 4 limbs, and he also needed to have his chest drained. His family, his mother, his twin brother Samuel, and his older brother Natan, a Hadassah doctor, were all by his side at Hadassah Hospital in Kerem during 7 hours of surgery. After surgery and intensive care, Shlomo was admitted to the Gandil Rehabilitation Center to begin his recuperation. At first, he was helpless. He needed to be dressed and fed and taken to the bathroom. Needless to say, he absolutely hated it. Today, looking back, and although he was badly wounded, he considers himself, as he says, one of the lucky ones, because the explosion missed his brain, his spinal cord, and his carotid artery. Over the summer, Shlomo continued to go to rehab 3 times a week, working particularly hard on his right hand. But he can walk and drive a car, and today he's back at work as a computer engineer. Even now, all these months later, he doesn't regret his decision to fight. He said, and I quote, "We have only one Israel. I am proud to fight for it." Shlomo Dema is truly the definition of a hero. What a moving story to demonstrate the miracle of Hanukkah. Thank you all for your ongoing support.
Happy Hanukkah. I'm Stephanie Bonder, and I'm a member of the National Board of Hadassah and the chair of Hadassah's Speakers Bureau. I was also privileged to be part of Hadassah's first solidarity mission to Israel in January of 2024. As we all know, on October 7th of last year, more than 1,200 men, women, and children, including 46 Americans and citizens of more than 30 countries, were slaughtered by Hamas terrorists, the largest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. Dozens of Israeli women and girls were brutally raped and mutilated by the terrorists. They used premeditated mass sexual violence and torture as a weapon of war, and these monsters continue to sexually abuse the hostages they are holding in captivity. While the facts that have since emerged are so disturbing, it's hard to process. They have inconceivably been justified and denied by some. The depravity of Hamas's crimes is almost unspeakable. Almost. But we at Hadassah believe that we must speak out to bring those responsible for those atrocities to justice. This is what our global End the Silence campaign has been all about. Earlier this year, Hadassah, which has been a voice for action since its founding, asked every member and supporter to be part of the End the Silence campaign. Here's an update on what's been done so far. Hadassah National President Carol Ann Schwartz delivered a petition signed by 130,000 Hadassah supporters from 118 countries, as well as a letter signed by 116 organizations to the UN Secretary General during the annual Commission on the Status of Women meetings at the UN, all amplifying calls for the UN to speak out about these war crimes, pursue an independent, trauma-informed, unbiased investigation, and seek justice for the victims. On International Women's Day in March, Hadassah members and supporters participated in a historic worldwide mobilization at nearly 190 events in 17 countries and 176 events across 32 states in the U.S. This following high-profile events at the Knesset on Capitol Hill in New York City and at the United Nations, as well as online through a powerful viral social media campaign. Hadassah members and chapters in the U.S., Hadassah International globally, and colleagues in Israel have been working tirelessly to help engage people around the world in this critical call to action. The campaign continues as chapters across the U.S. and leaders around the globe build on this call to action in their communities and galvanize around key moments with events, rallies, and strategic organizing. In the United States, Hadassah chapters have hosted hundreds of End the Silence events. Additionally, Hadassah leaders have taken a highly visible role in demanding that Hamas be held accountable for these war crimes, and we continue to advocate for justice for Israeli women and girls at the United Nations. When I was in Israel in January, we met a woman named Sherry Mendez who volunteered with the IDF in their Hebra Kadisha for women in Israel. It was her job to guard the bodies of those murdered on October 7th. She related to us that the bodies of the women were so mutilated that in some cases you could not detect the gender. The only way to tell was by the color painted on their nails. Therefore, Hadassah began the Yellow Nail campaign to raise awareness. We are doing whatever we can to seek justice for those women who were sexually assaulted and violated on October 7th. Thank you to all who are helping in this important work to end the silence on Hamas's sexual violence. May we have a happy and peaceful Hanukkah, and our hostages returned home.
Unfortunately, during the past year, we dealt with a lot of injuries from the war, both from the south and recently from the north. There are penetrating injury caused by bullets, shrapnels, blasts. Shiloh was injured a year ago, and I saw him just last week. Shiloh had a terrible injury to his right knee. Actually, he has severe blast caused by a high-energy bullet hitting directly in his knee, causing nerve damage and a very, very comminuted fracture. Using a really new, novel technology of 3D printing, we were able to reconstruct the fracture. Otherwise, I would say almost unreconstructable. 3D printing and modeling works on reconstruction of CAT scans when a technician in the lab actually tracks every segment of the fracture, what we call segmentation process. And then after the segmentation, they send the model to the printing. We can also do a virtual reduction of the fracture, put the pieces of bone where they belong, and also calculate the defect size and actually build a model of something to fill in the defect. In this case, we took a bone from the pelvis to fill in the defect. The most common thing that they see when I get an injured soldier, the first question they ask, how long would it take me to go back to fighting? Just now I'm sitting in the clinic. I had a soldier from an elite unit with an ankle fracture. He's now 3 months out, and he's almost urging and trying to convince me to sign him off so he can get back to his commando unit and go back to fight with his companions in Lebanon. They are very motivated. They all want to get back there and finish their job. I really adore them. They're great guys. For all the donors and supporters of Hadassah, I wish really to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and wish every single one of you a happy Hanukkah and a better and greater New Year. And I hope miracles will continue even in our days.
I'm Diane Gottlieb, the campaign chair for Hadassah's Comprehensive Cancer Center, and I'm very excited to share a recent development in cancer treatment at Hadassah Medical Organization. When we hear the term AI, or artificial intelligence, most of us are not sure if it's a good thing and whether it offers more benefits than risk. Well, there's some exciting news from Hadassah's Cancer Research Institute, where our own researchers have achieved another major medical breakthrough in personalized cancer care using, you guessed it, artificial intelligence. It's complicated science, but here's the gist. The development of cancer is driven by mutations in DNA. These mutations leave behind so-called mutational signatures, unique patterns that act as fingerprints that reveal the underlying causes of the cancer. These mutational signatures are useful biomarkers for drug response, drug resistance, and treatment success or failure, and have important clinical implications for treatment plans. The problem has been that until now, identifying these signatures has required analyzing a huge amount of data, often exceeding the capability of what's available in routine clinical settings. According to Dr. Aron Popovitzer, who heads Hadassah's Sherritt Institute of Oncology, current methods rely on targeted gene panel testing, which only analyzes a small portion of the genome. This limitation has hindered the ability to detect mutational signatures and apply this information to personalized treatment plans. Dr. Shai Rosenberg, senior neuro-oncologist and head of Hadassah's Laboratory for Cancer Computational Biology and the principal investigator, has developed a tool using machine learning, a kind of artificial intelligence, and natural language processing, or NLP, to detect dominant mutational signatures in these targeted gene panels using only a few mutations. This makes it ideal for everyday use. I warned you that it was complicated. According to Dr. Rosenberg, Hadassah's model has been validated in over 60,000 cancer samples, revealing crucial mutational signatures that are linked to better survival rates and treatment responses. Dr. Michal Lotem, head of the Cancer Research Institute, is equally enthusiastic. According to Dr. Lotem, this innovative model represents a major leap forward in personalized medicine. It offers a practical tool for oncologists, enabling them to make more informed decisions, ultimately leading to improved patient outcomes. This remarkable and groundbreaking research truly paves the way for a new era of personalized cancer care at Hadassah hospitals and around the world.
Hi, I'm Representative Esther Panitch. Today's sad reality is that anti-Semitism is on the rise, affecting people, especially women, every day. A 2024 Hadassah survey revealed that 64% of Jewish women believe anti-Semitism is affecting their lives, their relationships, and their work. 22% believe they've been excluded from groups or events, leaving them feeling alienated and alone. 33% have been victims of hate speech, making them feel targeted, threatened, and harassed. And 62% say they feel unsafe, afraid, anxious, worried, and sad. It's no wonder that more than half of these women hid their Jewishness, fearful to reveal their Jewish identity. Again, these startling statistics are from a brand new 2024 survey, not from decades ago or years ago, but today. Hadassah has been committed to standing up to anti-Semitism everywhere, to advocating for change, and to empowering Jewish women to take pride in and celebrate their identities. After months of tireless advocacy by Hadassah members across the country, legislation adopting the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, IRA, definition of anti-Semitism advanced in 7 states this year, including my own in Georgia. This process comes in the wake of an extreme rise of anti-Semitism in the U.S. following the October 7th Hamas attacks. This builds on the already 30 states that have adopted this important definition into law. The IRA definition includes key concepts such as the harmful or hateful perception of Jews, as well as rhetorical and physical indications that impact people, communities, and institutions. The definition also makes it clear that anti-Zionism is a form of anti-Semitism. Hadassah also supports the Countering Antisemitism Act, which would build on America's national strategy to counter anti-Semitism by establishing a national coordinator to counter anti-Semitism in the White House and beyond. On college campuses, anti-Semitic incidents increased 321% in 2023, and the Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Education received over 19,000 complaints. If you remember the news from earlier this year, dangerous and sometimes violent anti-Israel protests took over college campuses. Protesters parroted terrorist talking points. They created an unsafe environment for Jewish and pro-Israel students, faculty, and staff. We must urge our legislators to support the Showing Up for Students Act to protect the civil rights of Jewish students. These efforts are just a few examples of how Hadassah advocates are working to fight anti-Semitism every day. If you'd like to get involved, and we need you, go to the Hadassah website and check out the Anti-Semitism Resource Guide and Countering Anti-Zionist Talking Points for support in responding to anti-Semitism. I can't tell you how, like Hadassah, I am so proud of the many members who have played a vital role in this fight and who will continue to mobilize on the local, state, and national levels to educate and combat anti-Semitism in all 50 states and around the world.
I'm Marcie Natan, past national president, and now completing my amazing term as co-chair of Youth Aliyah. Hadassah has two Youth Aliyah villages, Mea Shvea and Hadassah Narim. Thanks to you, Hadassah's critical priorities in response to the ongoing war in Israel have included both protection and psychological support for our students and staff. We upgraded the bomb shelters in both villages and built a new one at Mea Shvea close to the dairy farm, which includes milk cows and chickens needing daily attention. Following extensive renovations, the therapy center at Hadassah's Mea Shvea Youth Village is now the Ellen Hershkin Therapeutic Center in honor of Hadassah's 26th national president. At the Hadassah Narim Youth Village, the spacious, redesigned emergency shelter will serve as a secure space and command center during emergencies and a leisure and activity space year-round. Many of the Youth Village's students are finding a welcome refuge during these uncertain times, including Mina Levine and Shechevet Yat Tannenwald, who says, "Just call me Shelley." Just a few years ago, both struggled in their respective schools. Their futures looked uncertain until they found their way to Hadassah Narim. I hope many of you met Mina and Shelley this past July at Hadassah's national conference in Las Vegas or during their travels as our Youth Aliyah representatives. Today, they are students who embody the village's mission to develop productive, well-adjusted members of Israeli society. Mina, who's from the Gaza envelope and experienced the terror of October 7 firsthand, says that without Hadassah Narim, she probably would have dropped out of school because she hadn't found the right place, a place where her teachers understood her learning disabilities and worked with her for endless hours to achieve success. Mina's mother found Hadassah Narim online. Among many of the village's features was a surfing program to take advantage of its location on the Mediterranean. Today, Mina runs the village's radio station and is a student counselor, making sure the needs of her fellow students are met. She was a co-captain of the robotics team, and of course, she loves being able to surf. When graduation comes, Mina knows she has the tools she needs to flourish, especially in her future endeavors volunteering with at-risk youth at a surf club and serving in the Army. She says, when you are down, Hadassah and Nurim won't just lift you up. They teach you how and give you confidence to lift yourself up. I know I will have a lot of doors open to me. Before arriving at Hadassah Nurim, Shelley, who made Aliyah as a 2-year-old with her family from South Africa, faced bullying at school, not only from her peers, but from her teachers. She was bullied for being short and for having acne, and a teacher announced in front of Shelley and her peers that she was the worst student in the class. Once she reached Hadassah Nurim, however, her story took a dramatic turn. She told Hadassah's July conference participants, "When I came to the youth village, I made my first real friends. I started succeeding in school. I started volunteering. I started all these activities after school that I never would have done before Hadassah Nurim." Shelley now surfs and trains dogs in the village's Dog Rehabilitation Center, the program that first attracted her to the village. She's a junior counselor making connections between Ukrainian and Israeli kids through fun, nonverbal activities, and she's in combat training. Also, she said in July, "I'm finishing 11th grade with an average of 91. I've got tons of friends. I have a purpose." My co-chair, Michelle Rubin, and I recently met up with Shelley again in Poland, where Hadassah sponsored 150 high school seniors and their devoted staff as we toured concentration camps and other Nazi sites, as well as synagogues and cemeteries. As we moved from these intense experiences to activities allowing the kids to debrief, have fun, and for many, see snow for the first time, all I could think about was that after graduation this year, these young people will be in the Army defending the state of Israel. How grateful and proud we can be that we have prepared them well. Mina and Shelley send the following message to all of us. A big thank you for making our lives better with this incredible opportunity. I know we respond with prayers for peace.
I'm Dr. Judith Mann, and I am the HMO chair for Hadassah, the Women's Zionist Organization of America. I'm thrilled to have been given the delightful task of celebrating Hadassah's place on the stage of global medicine, according to one of the most respected news organizations in the world. Yes, we've done it again. Newsweek magazine has named Hadassah Medical Organization a world leader in cardiology and oncology in the 2025 rankings of the world's best specialized hospitals. This is the 5th year in a row that Hadassah Medical Organization has been included in the list of the world's top hospitals for cardiology, and the 4th year in a row it's been among the world's top hospitals for oncology. Newsweek has also named Hadassah a leader in the use of smart technologies such as digital imaging, artificial intelligence, robotics, and telemedicine. The magazine says in their write-up that the hospitals on their list have the best care outcomes and efficiency, which helps to drive key health processes such as disease prevention, community health, and improved quality of life for all. The 2025 rankings are the result of Newsweek's annual assessment of more than 300 hospitals around the world, and they are based on recommendations by tens of thousands of medical experts who are verified by an international committee of specialists. There's more. Here's another important piece of recognition for Hadassah. This from the prestigious International Cardio-Oncology Society. In January of this year, Hadassah Medical Organization's Cardio-Oncology Center was declared Israel's first center of excellence. This is an extraordinary accomplishment, as the field of cardio-oncology is still new and developing in Israel. But wait, there's even more. This summer, Hadassah Medical Organization was awarded the Israeli Minister of Health's Shield for Volunteerism, recognizing the 900 volunteers at Hadassah hospitals and the departments that manage their activities. This award is given annually to individual volunteers, groups, and organizations that make a special contribution to the advancement of health in Israel. In a moving ceremony at Hadassah Hospital Ein Kerem, the health minister, Uriel Busso, presented the award to Talia Hirschman, who heads Hadassah's volunteer unit, Norit Schatz, a volunteer coordinator, and Sima Ben Hamo, head of the human resources. In her acceptance remarks, Hirschman said that many people discover the possibility of volunteering and the needs that arise precisely when they or a loved one are hospitalized. At that moment, they understand that a supportive hand, even if it's just to make a cup of tea or the attention of a caring smile, means the world, especially to those who are having a difficult time during hospitalization or even during a medical examination. In times of war and in times of peace, our hospitals serve all the residents of Israel, caring for them with great skill and compassion. Once again, as in many past years, Hadassah has been recognized nationally and internationally for its life-changing work. We should all share the feeling of pride in the accomplishments of the Hadassah Medical Organization.
Good evening. As co-coordinator of the Philanthropy Division, I want to extend a personal thank you to each and every one of you who are joining us this evening. You are a part of this program because you are an intrinsic part of the fabric of Hadassah, and it's because of your generosity, not just this year, but for so many years, that we are able to continue doing all that we do for the people of Israel and beyond.
The last 15 months have been an incredibly critical and crucial time for our community, and we know that your philanthropic dollars could have gone to any number of organizations that are doing worthwhile work to help heal the people in the state of Israel. So to all of you who have chosen to be a part of the work we are doing, especially through our Together We Will Heal fundraising initiative, we are so grateful for your support.
Through Together We Will Heal, you are helping to make possible the opening of the Gandil Rehabilitation Center, the equipping of brand new underground operating rooms in the Sarah Wetzman Davidson Hospital Tower, the construction of the ICU in the Round Building, providing critical security and programming for our youth villages, and the expansion of mental health services to the residents of Jerusalem and beyond. These needs have never been more important or timely.
It is not just the doctors, nurses, and staff who make our mission a reality. but it's each of you. Thank you for being a part of each of the stories we saw tonight and for taking pride in the important work we do in our hospitals, youth villages, on Capitol Hill, and beyond. So from all of us in the Philanthropy Division leadership team, we wish you a heartfelt Toda Rabah and a Chag Sameach.
ימי החנוכה, חנוכת מקדשנו, בגיל ובשמחה ממלאים את ליבנו, לילה ויום סביבוננו יסוף, סוף גניות נאכל בם לרוב, העירו, הדליקו, נרות חנוכה רבים, על הניסים ועל הנפלאות אשר חוללו המכבים, על הניסים ועל הנפלאות אשר חוללו המכבים. ימי החנוכה, חנוכת מקדשנו, בגיל ובשמחה ממלאים את ליבנו, לילה ויום סביבוננו יסוף, סוף גניות נאכל בם לרוב, העירו, הדליקו, נרות חנוכה רבים, על הניסים ועל הנפלאות אשר חוללו המכבים, על הניסים ועל הנפלאות אשר חוללו המכבים.